Okay, dear students, in this session we are going to discuss about the various determinants of cost and also the cost output relationship. In the last class we discussed about the various types of cost, fixed cost, variable cost, opportunity cost, etc. So in this module we are going to discuss about what are the various determinants of cost, how the particular cost of a particular item is determined, and the second one we are discussing about the cost output relationship both in the long term and the short term. We discussed about the theory of productions, basically theory of productions in the production function in the short term and also in the long term. In this in this session we are going to discuss about the cost output relationship both in the long period and also in the short period. First of all, we can see what are the various determinants of cost. Actually, we know that the cost of production depends on various factors. We all know about what are these variables, because for producing a particular item we know that we need some variables and we need some elements, and the cost of these elements determines the cost of that products. So the first element or the first factor is output level. The total cost has a direct relationship with the output. That means direct relationship means if the output increases, the total cost will also increases. If the output decreases, the total cost will also decrease. So there is a direct relationship between the output level and the cost. And the second one is the price of various factors of production. We know about the various factors of production, and there also we can see a direct relationship between the factors of production and the cost. Third one, the productivity of factors of production. Productivity in the sense that it is the capacity of the factors of the production. There is an inverse relationship between the capacity of factors of production or the productivity of factors of production. Inverse relationship means opposite relationship. If the productivity increases, the cost decreases. If the productivity decreases, the cost increases. So there is an inverse relationship between the productivity of factors of production. And the other determinant of cost is the technology. There also we can see an inverse relationship between the technology and the cost. We know that the cost will increases if we are using an outdated technological equipments or outdated technology. So these are the various determinants of cost. So basically we need to understand the direct relationship and inverse relationship in the determinants of cost. Among this, the output level and the price has a direct relationship with the with the cost of production, and the productivity of factors of production and technology have inverse relationship with the cost of production. Okay. And next is we are going to discuss about the cost output relationship, or we can say that the cost function. In the last module we discussed about the production function, and now we are going to see discuss about the cost function. Cost function, actually it is a technical term used to describe the cost output relationship. It is a technical term used to describe the basically the cost and the output relationship, and it helps in determining the optimum level of production. Optimal level of production means that we can produce the maximum quantity with a minimum amount or minimum cost. So the cost function helps in determining the optimum level of production. Actually, the two factors that affect the cost function is, or the production function is, the production function and the price of the inputs. So these production function and the price of inputs affects the cost function. Production function is the functional relationship between the input and output. We discussed that in the last module. What do you mean by this production function? So it is a functional relationship between the input and output. But the cost function can be expressed as it is the total cost is equal to function of Q, we know about the TC. TC means total cost, F means function or depends on, and Q means total output produced. So we can say that the total cost is equal to function of Q, that is the total output produced. Okay. And TC and Q are in a direct relationship. That is the total output produced and the total cost are in the direct relationship. This point we seen in the last slide, that in the determinants of cost. That means direct relationship means, once again, direct relationship means when the output increases, the TC also increases. When the output decreases, the total cost will also decrease. So there has a direct relationship. And the cost function can be divided into two, that is short-run cost function and long-run cost function. Short-run cost function and a long-run cost function. Okay, so this is about the cost function. We can say that the cost function is a technical term used to describe the cost output relationship. And what is the use of cost function? It helps to determine the optimum level of production. Optimal level of production means we can produce the maximum quantity with a minimum cost, and we've seen that the cost function basically depends on two factors, that is a production function and the price of inputs. And in the equations we can say that, or it can be expressed as TC is equal to function of Q, and F of Q means the total output produced and TC means the total cost. Okay, so we already seen that the TC and Q are in a direct relationship. Next we are going to see about the three terms, that is the total cost, average cost and marginal cost. For studying about the cost function, we need a clear idea about what you mean by this TC, what you mean by this AC, and what you mean by this MC. First of all, we know about what you mean by this total cost. Actually, total cost means it is the money spent in the production of a particular quantity. It is the actual money spent in the production of, for producing a particular item. Total cost is the actual money spent in the production of that particular quantity. And we can say that TC is equal to total fixed cost plus total variable cost. We already seen that the cost consists of two items, that is fixed cost and also the variable cost. So we can say that the total cost is equal to TFC plus TVC. And so we understood about the total cost, and next one is the average cost. Average cost means it is the total cost divided by number of units produced or cost per unit. We studied about how to find out the average. Average means total divided by number. So here the total cost divided by number of units produced. In other words, we can say it is the cost per unit. And the next one is marginal cost. Okay, before that we want to see the equation of AC, that is the AC is equal to TC divided by Q. TC divided by Q, that is total cost divided by quantity. Or in there is another method to find out the average cost, that is it is the total, or it is the addition of average fixed cost and average variable cost. Next one is the marginal cost. What do you mean by this marginal cost? We already studied about these concepts. For the marginal cost means it is the addition to the total cost due to the production of an additional unit. How much addition has occurred in the total cost due to the production of an additional output? So this is about the marginal cost. In the equation to find out the MC is equal to change in total cost divided by change in quantity. Change in total cost divided by change in quantity. And change in total cost means it is change in TC means change in the total cost, and change in Q means change in the quantity. We know about these items. Okay. So this is about the TC, AC and MC. It's very simple. TC means it is actual money spent in the production, and average cost means total cost divided by number of units produced, and marginal cost is the addition in total cost due to the production of an additional unit. Now we are going to see about the short run cost function. Short run cost function, it's very important. It may be asked in the it may ask for 15 marks questions in the university exams. So let's see what you mean by this short run cost function. First of all, you want to comment you comment on the definition of short period, because in the last session we studied about what you mean by this short period, so you want to comment. And in the short run, we already studied that the physical capacity of the firm is fixed. We know that in the short run, the physical capacity of the firm is fixed. That means the existing plant and the equipment cannot be increased to produce the additional output. We cannot increase the plant and equipment, we can only change the variable inputs. We've seen that the existing plant and equipment cannot be increased to produce the additional output. And also we can see that the fixed inputs cannot be increased in the short run. We already studied that only the variable inputs can be increased or decreased in the short run. And for increasing the output in the short run, what we can do is only by changing the variable inputs or using the existing physical capacity more intensively. That means we want the continuous use of the physical capacity for increasing the output, especially in the short run, or otherwise we want to change the variable inputs. And total cost in the short run consists of basically two things, that is the total fixed cost and total variable cost. So TC in the short run is equal to TFC and the TVC. And we know that total fixed cost, as the name suggests, it will be the fixed, and the total variable cost, as the name suggests, it will varies with the output. Okay, so this is about the short run cost function. And we can express the short run cost functions in equations, that is total cost is equal to TFC plus TVC, total fixed cost plus total variable cost. And mathematically, total variable cost is equal to total cost minus TFC, and TFC is equal to TC minus TVC. And we know that when there is no production, the total cost will be the equal to total fixed cost, because the variable cost comes only when there is production. So if there is no production, there is only total fixed cost. So we can say that in the short run there will not be any change in the TFC. TFC is always fixed in the short run, because we cannot change the fixed inputs, especially in the short run. And the change in total cost implies means change in TVC. Why do the total cost changes in the short run? It's basically because of, we can say that basically because of it is a change in TVC. So this is about the short run cost function. Okay. If we know about these equations, we can easily understand about this particular table. And here there are 8 columns. The first column is output, second column is TFC, third column is TVC, fourth TC, AVC, AFC, AC and MC. We all know about the abbreviations of these 8 columns. That is, first TFC means total fixed cost, and TVC means total variable cost, and TC is total cost, that is the sum of 2 and 3, that is the total fixed cost and the total variable cost. And next one is the average variable cost. For finding the average variable cost, we want to divide the TVC divided by output. And average fixed cost means it is computed by total fixed cost divided by output. And average cost, we can find the average cost by total cost divided by output. And marginal cost, we know that the change in it is a change in the total cost due to the change in the input. Okay, so for finding the MC, we want to subtract the change in total cost. Okay, and actually, what are the way we want to study about the various findings from this table? Actually, this table is for studying the cost function in the short run. Okay, The first thing is that actually the table is prepared on the basis of law of variable proportion. What do you mean by this law of variable proportion? We studied in the last module. We know that the law of variable proportion or the law of diminishing returns means if the quantity of the variable input is increased continuously, the output will first increase, but after the stage output will decline, and we are keeping the other factors constant. So this table is prepared on the basis of law of variable proportion. And here we can see some interesting things. The first one is that we know that if the total fixed cost is always fixed, so from the production of first output to the seventh output, it is 240. It is fixed at 240 at all levels of production. And we know that the TC is equal to TFC when there is no output. So we can see that when on a zero output is produced or there is no output, we can see in the total cost column the total cost is 240, because when there is no output the TC is equal to TFC. And the next one, we can see that the total variable cost varies with the output. When we producing the one output, the total variable cost TVC is 120, and subsequently it changes to 200, 270, 320, 420, 552 and 722. So we can say that TVC varies directly with the output. When the output increases, the TVC is also increases. Next one, we can see that in the short run, we already studied, we can see that basically the total cost varies mainly because of the total variable cost, because the TFC is always fixed, and the only changing factor, only the changing cost is here is total variable cost. So TC varies mainly because of the TFC. And in the next column, that is the AFC, we can see that the AFC decreases as per the increase in the output. Please see the TFC column and the AFC column. In the TFC column, we can see that the fixed cost is always fixed, that is 240, but in the AFC average fixed cost, we can see that AFC decreases as per the increase in the output. First it is 240, then it reduced to 120, then it reduced to 80, 60, 48, 40 and 34. So we can see that AFC decreases as per the increase in the output. And next one, please look into the AVC column, that is average variable cost column. We can see the operation of increasing and diminishing returns in the AVC columns. That is, first it increases, then reduces, then again increases. That is, in the AVC column we can say first it is 120, then 100, then again reduces to 90, 80, 84. 90 and 80, then again rise to 84, 92 and 103. So we can see the operation of increasing and diminishing returns in the average variable cost column. Already we seen that from the 0 to 4, the average variable cost falls due to the increasing returns, and from the 5 to 7 we can see that the AVC begins to rise due to diminishing returns. So both the increasing and the diminishing returns can be seen in the average variable cost column. Okay, and please see the MC column, that is, we can say that increase in the MC, the increase in MC is due to increase in the average variable cost. And from the fourth output level, we can see that the MC is rising 50, 100, 132 and 160. This is mainly because of the increase in average variable cost. Okay, so these are the findings from the table 4.1. so it's very simple, and again I'm repeating, this table is prepared on the law of variable proportion. We know that the law of variable proportion, what do you mean by law of variable proportion? If the quantity of the variable input is increased continuously, the output will first increase, but after a stage the output will decline. And we had seen some important things in the various columns. That first of all, from the TFC column we can see that TFC is fixed, and when there is no output, the TC is equal to TFC. And next one, in the TVC column, that is total variable cost column, we can say that TVC varies mainly because directly with the output, and the total cost varies mainly because of the TVC. And in the average fixed cost column, we can say that it decreases as per the increase in the output, and we can see the increasing and diminishing returns in the average variable cost. From the 0 to 4 we can see the increasing returns, and from 5 to 7 we can see the diminishing returns. And last point is, we can say that the increase in MC is mainly because of the increase in AVC. And the next one is, it is the graphical representation of TFC, TVC and TC. First we had seen the tabular representation of TSC, TVC and TC. Now we are going to see the graphical representation of TFC, TVC and TC. Here is the graph, and in the x-axis output is shown, and in the y-axis cost is shown. First point is, TFC is a straight line parallel to the x-axis, because TFC means total fixed cost. It is always fixed. It is fixed at 240, so there is a straight column. We can say that it is a straight line parallel to the x-axis. Next one, TVC column is upward and rising from the origin. In the short run we can say that the total cost is increasing only due to the TVC, and there is a direct relationship between the Q and the TVC. That is, when the output increases, the TVC also increases. So the TVC curve is an upward rising from the origin. And next one is, the TC curve is upward rising from the TFC line. It's mainly because we can say that when there is no production, there is TC is equal to TFC. So the TC curve is upward rising from the TFC line. And there is, we can see a constant vertical distance between the TC and TVC. The distance is this distance. It's constant vertical distance between the TC and TVC. It is only because of FC. So due to this FC, we can see the constant vertical distance between the TC and TVC. Okay, so these are the main points, or this is a relationship between the TFC, TVC and TC in the short run. Okay, so only three things. That the first one is, TFC is a straight line parallel to the x-axis, because the total fixed cost is always fixed. That's why it is a straight line. Okay, then TVC curve is upward rising from the origin. The reason is that it's a direct relationship between the output. When the output increases, the TVC also increases. And the third point is that total cost curve is upward rising from the TFC line. We can see that the TC is upward from the TFC line, because when there is no output, the TC is equal to TFC. That is why the TC curve is upward rising from the TFC line. And we can see the constant vertical distance between the TC and TVC, it only because of fixed cost. Due to this fixed cost, there is a constant vertical distance between the TC and TVC. Okay, now we are going to see about the graphical representation of MC, AC, AVC and AFC. We had seen the graphical representation of TFC, TVC and TC. Now we are going to see the graphical representation of marginal cost, average variable cost and average fixed. Now the graphical representation. Okay, first point is that AFC sloped downwards. AFC sloped downwards. The main reason is that when the output increases, the AFC will go downwards. Second is that AVC curves slope downwards and then begins to rise. Again I am repeating, AVC curve slope downwards and begins to rise. The reason is that it is due to the law of variable proportion. And third one, see the AC curve, average cost curve. Average cost curve, we can say that it is a U-shaped curve. It's mainly because of, again, the reason is it's the law of variable proportion. And we can see three phases in the AC curve. The first phase is that it falls. Second is that it is, sorry, it is constant to some period, and again it goes rise. Once again, first the AC falls, then constant to some period, and again it's rise. It's mainly because of the law of variable proportion. We know the variable proportion. If one variable is changed or increased continuously, the output will first increase, but after the stage the output will decline. So it's mainly because of the law of variable proportion. The AC first falls constant and then rise to the in relation to the output. Okay, so this is the graphical representation of MC. First of all, first related to the AFC, we can see that the AFC slopes downwards because when the output increases, the AFC goes downwards. And in the AVC curve, we can see that the AVC curve first slopes downwards, then begins to rise. And AC curve is a U-shaped curve, first decreases constant and again rise. AC curve movements is basically because of the law of variable proportion. Okay, now we are going to see about the relationship between AVC, AC and FC. First thing, that if both the average fixed cost and average variable cost falls, AC will also fall. See, the AFC is falling and AVC is falling. At the same time, we can see that AC is also falling. So if both the AFC and AVC falls, the AC will also falls. And next point is that when AFC falls and AVC rises, that is the AFC is falling and the AVC is rising, three things happens. First thing is that the AC is also falling. When actually where the drop in AFC is more than the rise in the AVC. The drop in the AFC is more than the rise in the AVC. At that time the AC will fall. Okay. Second is that AC remains constant. In this area the AC remains constant. Actually, if the drop in the AFC and the rise in the AVC is equal, we can see that the AC is constant. And the third point is that AC will rise. Here see the AC is rising at what time? When the drop in AFC is less than the rise in the AVC. So actually when the AFC falls and AVC rises, we can see three things. That first one is AC will fall, AC remains constant, and AC will rise. Okay. Next point is the relationship between the AC and the MC curves. For proving this relationship between the AC and MC curves, we need two things, that is the graphical representation and also the tabular representation. First thing is that AC is falling. First is AC is falling. At that time, see the MC is less than the MC is less than the AC. Okay. And again we can see that the AC is rising at what time? When the MC is more than the AC. Okay, so first of all, basically 2 points, that is AC is falling at when the MC is less than AC, and AC is rising when the MC is more than AC. Okay, at the point of E, please see, at the point of the E we can see that MC is equal to AC, and MC cuts AC from the below. Okay, so we can see that at the point of the E, the MC and the marginal cost and the average cost are equal, and the MC cuts A from the below. What is the reason? Because the production of additional output does not changing the AC. That is, the production of the additional output is not changing the average cost. That's why at the point E, MC is equal to AC. Okay, so these are the main points. These are the main relationship between AC and MC. First point is AC is falling and AC is rising, and the point E. Okay, so these are the mainly 3 points, or main three relationship between the AC and MC curves. Okay, next, the last topic is that the least cost input combination or the optimum form. We already discussed about in the first slide. We discussed about what you mean by this optimum form. Actually, the optimum firm means the firm which fully utilize its scales of operations and produce optimum output with the minimum cost. That is, we are fully utilizing the scale of operations, or we can say that we are producing maximum output with the minimum cost, or minimum cost per unit of production. Okay, here in this graph we can see that at the point E is the least cost, least input combination. Actually, at the E, in the last slide, we had seen that at the E, the MC is equal to the AC, or the lowest point in the AC curve. Okay, at this E point, we can see two things. First thing is that AC is equal to MC, and also it is the lowest point in the AC curve. And least cost input combination is attained when the output reaches 6 unit. Here in the tabular representation, we can see that both the AC is equal to MC, that both the AC and MC are at 132, and it is at when the firm is producing the sixth output. Okay, so in the sixth output, we attain the least cost input combination. Okay, and next one is in the here is a problem has given in the your text, page number 125. Actually, we want to find out the least cost input combination level for finding, and in the question we can see two columns, that is the output and the total cost. From this we want to find out the LCIC level, or least cost input combination level. Actually, we can find it very easy. We need for finding it, we need another table, that is we want to find out the AC and MC. You know how to find out the AC and MC. This is also your assignment, that you want to uh, find out the LCIC level, and comment the answer. Okay, and thank you. This is about the we had discussed. Actually, we discussed about the input cost output relationship, or the cost functions in the short run. Okay, so please read your textbooks, and also please see the slide, and if you have any doubts, please comment. Okay, thank you.